Everyone's ready to go? Coach, if you want to start with a quick statement and then we'll take questions for coach and players.
Yeah, it was a really good win. All three phases did a lot of good things. And credit FIU, they fought hard and kind of thought we gained some confidence, certainly going in the locker room, but we didn't come out with what we needed. And I thought then our defense gave a touchdown, and I went for it on fourth down, trying to give our O-line a little confidence, and then that backfired. So and our defense stepped up, held them to a field goal, which was big. And then we got on track. I thought it was a really good team win. When you look at it, since I've been here, it puts us 3-4 at McGurk. We're 3-3 the last 6 games we played. The guys, we didn't finish the game kind of like we wanted to. Certainly Danny's bobbled the ball a little bit. We missed the field goal, which ices it, but we're a work in progress. And then, but I thought the O-line grew up at the end, and Johnny Robb did a good job. We brought the bus in at the end, and it's a good mix and match, but a really solid win for our team.
Whip, did it feel like in this game as a whole, when you guys had some things not go your way, you guys bounced back from it as well as they have in a while?
I think it's kind of what I said. That, we won a couple games at the end of the year. We were right there, and we've been talking about these 5-minute stretches we've had against Florida and certainly BC last week. That you got to reset, and our guys did a good job with that. Defense did a good job. We could have hung our head at the end of the game. So that's football. You got to learn to. We're doing a better job of that than we were when I first got here, and I think that's a credit to the players and assistant coaches.
Andrew, when did you find out you were starting? How did you feel at that point, and overall, how did you feel about the way you played?
Before the walkthrough on Thursday, Coach Whip told me in his office and told me it was my show this week, and I felt like I had a good week of practice with the guys. They were really confident, in me, which made me feel really well about the system, and we just finished it up Thursday after I knew, and rolled into the Friday, and just carried it into today.
Did it feel like old times throwing to Adam?
Yeah, it did a little bit. It was good to get a couple completions to him, and I'm glad he's on our side.
Adam, did that remind you of the sort of the chemistry you guys had back
Yeah, it did. It was fun. I was excited, to play with Andrew this week, and obviously he did a really good job, and that was a good thing going in. I think we all felt like we had 2 quarterbacks we felt really good about, and obviously Andrew did a good job, and just happy we got the win.
Whip, you said after last week's game that Ross was the best that you had at quarterback. Is Andrew starting a thing moving forward? Is that a 1 week?
I said it was the best quarterback situation I've been in since the Steelers. So we knew we had 2 guys and give them the reps and everything else. So it's a good situation. It gives you guys something to write about, right?
Does that mean that if Ross healthy, he's coming back, or is it?
I'm not worried about tomorrow.
You guys, the past couple of years have lacked some big defensive plays in crucial spots. How Deshaun's sack to kind of held them to a field goal at that last drive and not let them get them closer. How big was the timing on that?
Well, Deshaun made plays. He made a great play, interception in the Buffalo game, and just gotten better. We know you watch him against Florida and BC. He's rushing the passer, and the other thing on defense that. Besides Deshaun, we lost Shane Huber at the halftime, and we had some other guys step up, and that was big. But all those guys believe in one another, and we lost. Our starting, we lost Jackson Porter in the middle of the week, and we started a true freshman out there, and Isaiah Rogers did a good job. So, we're getting better, we're getting younger, which we'll just look at. So I was just proud of the way the guys hung in there. They didn't look like all freshmen.
Both Deshaun and Steve, are you guys feeling defensively right now like you're gonna make a big play in the spot when you need one? You feel like there's one coming, given the way that you guys have played so far this season?
Definitely. We just gotta keep playing hard, executing our assignments, and you seen it today. Like Florida, we got the ball out 3 times, but we didn't get a turnover. But today, we finished the job, and that was the focus going into today. It was turning the ball over.
And during the week, we worked on what runs the ball. When you run to the ball, big things happen, and that's when turnovers happen. So we had a good week of practice, and it transferred over to the game.
Coach Whipple, given Ross's uncertainty, how did you feel Andrew prepared given the situation, and how do you feel this week was?
Yeah, but I wasn't I knew he's a good player, that's why we recruited him, and just, he's done a good job. And kind of the way we're doing the system, he's getting a lot of reps, it's not like the NFL, so there wasn't any panic. And I thought one of the keys was, made me feel better early in the week, you know, he doesn't know me that well, but he cracked a little joke on Monday, and so I felt better about the situation. Yeah, I don't think he cracked one since he's been here, so when you're gonna be the starting quarterback and you make light of things, that's a good sign.
Andrew, what was the joke?
I don't even remember.
Andrew, do you feel like do you feel more confident about yourself as both the quarterback and the leader after this game?
You know, absolutely. I think, you know, whatever my role is going forward, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. You know, obviously we want Ross back out there. He's our guy. And, you know, whatever Coach Whip and the offensive staff ask me to do, I'm going to do the best of my ability.
Andrew, you and Adam seem to, probably coincidence for placement, but seem to find each other right after the game ended and share a hug. Is there anything you can share that you guys said to each other?
You know, it's just when this situation unfolded the way it did, you know, we talked about moments like that. And for the game to end, you know, with us taking a knee and us finding each other was something that, you know, we weren't sure we were ever going to do again after Cedar Cliff. So being able to share that with him is something we won't forget for the rest of our lives.
Adam, given the amount of time that you spent injured, did you wonder at times if you'd ever have a game like this again?
Honestly, I guess I did. Yeah, for a while, I you know, felt like things just were never going my way. Was getting banged up here and there, but you know, honestly, that's all behind me. I don't ever think now about getting hurt. I never think about, you know, my body feels great and I've been healthy, and you know, I just hope that I can, you know, contribute the rest of 9 games to our team, and hopefully one more with the bowl game. So that's my goal, is to stay healthy and keep doing what Coach has asked me to do.
Deshaun, when you saw Joe come out of the pile with the ball, what went through your mind?
I was just happy for him, honestly, because we just talked about it on the sideline about getting turnovers. And Joe said he was going to go get one, and that's what he did. And I was just happy for him. I mean, he's a guy who was a walk-on in the beginning of the season and got a scholarship, and he's out there balling with the first team. I was just happy for him.
Whip, after that first drive, Andrew looked poised throughout the game. Did you say anything to him after that first pick to kind of calm him down and kind of get him back on track for the rest of the game?
Probably not to him, but probably to Woody up in the box. No, you know, it happens, those things. But he's calm, and you know, he made all the throws, so it wasn't anything that and moved around well. So no, it was, you know, you're always going to have those things. You know?
Well, obviously you never wanted to have a pick, but was it good that he was able to bounce back from that pick? Does that show you something about him that
yeah,
he didn't shake it out?
All quarterbacks, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to, you know, you got to reset, and I could see in his eyes it wasn't a big deal. So I just told him move on, let's go next play, and you know, on time and outside was the thing with semi, but you know, it's then he just settled down, and sometimes an interception will do that to really good players. Other times it'll, you know, put a little gasoline on the fire, but with him, he was just settled and just didn't affect him, and nobody else. And I think the teammates were really it didn't bother anybody.
Coach, how do you feel about the running game? It seemed like you mentioned you brought the bus in kind of in the fourth quarter, but it seemed like the 3 quarters you kind of were.
Yeah, we're young up front. You know, we got 2 freshmen, and communication was lacking a little bit, and you got to give FIU credit. They, you know, that FIU was ahead 13-12 against Indiana. So you're talking about a Big Ten team. We're not talking about like this is somebody. So you're trying to keep it. We want to get balance and everything else, and want to make first downs. And thought if we tired them out, that we could get to that point. So it kind of, I don't think we've really ever done that since I've been here. And our line's a little bigger, and I think it's a shot of confidence for those guys for next week.
Anything else for these guys? Thank you.
Thanks.